Okay. Now we are here. We are here. We are here.
Caught again, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Happy Thursday, and welcome to uh, October with Taking the Journey Together. We're glad you're here again. Glad we're here again. Uh, Taking the Journey Together. I'm going to start. Oh, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Zare.
Mm-hmm.
You're Imar,
Yes.
and we're still taking the journey together.
Yes.
Even though
We have nothing else to do anyway. No, I'm
yeah,
just joking. We
well,
have
it's a fun
everything to
journey.
do, but it's creating them things with me between me and
Yeah,
you. How's that?
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a fun journey, whether I come along for the ride or not. I'm still enjoying that ride with you. That is a wonderful thing. And so we have been doing this for a little bit, and I'm kind of filibustering a little bit because
Okay, what's that? We have a lot of political things going on right now in the country, dealing with first time in the history of America, the House doesn't have a speaker whatsoever, and all the other political shenanigans are going on. I heard that word more than once called filibuster. So clue us in what a filibuster is.
it's when you just talk a lot and say nothing important. And
Oh,
so,
okay.
it's killing time. And
Ah,
I'm trying to give you a chance to get things taken care of on your end,
mm-hmm,
which is the filling in for the you're
mm-hmm.
playing what is it? It's not director, it is engineer.
Yeah, exactly,
That's
exactly.
what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, because you're playing engineer, I want to make sure you have an opportunity to
Okay.
focus on that.
Okay. Well, then no more filibustering. Let's move on.
Okay. And so I've gotten us introduced, and we know we're taking the journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, we've got a lot of people in who
They're
have
coming
been with
in.
us before,
They're coming
and
in.
people
Tell them to
who,
share alike. Yeah,
yes,
because I can see they're coming in now. So make sure you go and share alike, share with friends, share with family, share even with people you don't know. Go ahead.
exactly, share with your Facebook friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I want to do is start off with our belief statement.
Okay.
And our belief statement says, we are going to relate. It doesn't matter what your mother says, your father says, your children, or even what Jesus says. We are going to relate. At Taking the Journey Together, we believe in relating in a balanced manner. Balanced relationships are the ones that are entered into as friends first and lovers second, but has both aspects in each partner.
Okay. Okay. Both aspects in each partner. That means
Yes.
we don't wear the same clothes. We don't necessarily wear the same shoes. And everything else underneath the clothes, we don't wear if we don't have to.
Oh.
Sometimes some people don't wear them at all, but that's another story. Okay, so
We're not going to talk about that.
no, we won't. That'd be another time. Now we have had two important guests that have been coming along with us. Two important guests. One of them won't be here, or they may show up. If they do, we're very excited about it. But right now, we have that new important guest that we feel is, how can I say it? She is a unique person all by herself. There's nobody in the world like her whatsoever. And if you know her, you know about it. And if you don't know that, then you're going to know it once you get a chance to be able to hear her speak and the wisdom that comes out of her mouth. So we're going to go ahead and get a chance to introduce. Now, those who have been watching our show, have been paying attention to the show, we know, you know who she is. But we're going to go ahead and get her introduced and let her tell a little about herself. And she gets a chance to basically say hello. I was going to say hello, but hello, and kind of go from there. Here we go right now.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am here as opposed to being there somewhere in the middle. I shall learn.
Oh, wow. I thought I had enough saying stuff like that, but she's in between the transition.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I want to do something a little bit different before we really get into it. And it's a part of your introduction. And the reason I want to do this a little bit different is because a week or two ago,
Era Scott, she's watching again. Hello,
yes,
Ariel. How are you
hi
doing?
there.
Well, good to see you.
The reason I'm doing this a little bit different is because a few weeks ago, you introduced yourself and you pronounced your name in a different way than what I had been told by somebody to pronounce your name. So could you do that again so that I can get the correct pronunciation?
Okay, because my name is what it is, there are different variations of it. My name is Leta de Mauville. Now you can break it up. I will allow that because it's a part of my name. Any derivation of it is great. You can say Latita. You can say La. You can say L. You can say Demo. You can say Vi. Any derivative of my name is very, very groovalicious with me, right? So whatever you feel comfortable in saying, as long as it's a derivative of my name, I'm
Okay.
cool with that.
Okay. Because my thing is, I often tell people I meet, I want to make sure I pronounce your name properly, because I have learned over the years that names are important. They have a meaning to them. And sometimes when you change that, you change the person. And so,
Right.
So how come I only get babe all the time?
You do
And once in a
not.
while, honey. And what's
You do
up
not.
with that? Are you trying to change me to a babe or honey? I mean, come on
Well,
now.
you are, honey.
My
but
name is not a babe or honey.
No, that's like a nickname, but you're always an
Yeah,
I
but
Martin.
I used to hear
but I
that
call
women
you,
hated men calling them babe or honey. Am I right?
right?
They didn't
I
feel
don't
like
call
they
you
were
that
individual.
anymore.
Oh, okay.
If you notice, I call you Love now.
Hey, folks, right now here today, you hear a new name that I get. It's called Love.
Yes.
I never heard it before.
Yes,
but now
you have. Every time you call me on the phone or whatever, I said, hey, Love, or I call you, I say the same thing all the time.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm putting all things aside, and I hope you do, take this the right way. I'd rather be called Mr. Tibbs.
No.
Don't you remember that movie? Don't you remember that movie that was done by Sidney Poitier?
They called
The
me
Heat of
Mr.
Night,
Tibbs.
and they were trying to give him a hard time. He said, "They call me Mr. Tibbs."
Because somebody called him boy.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I'm not saying that calling me honey or sweet is as derogatory as a boy, no doubt about it. But it's just such a normal name,
It is.
from that end. So that's the reason why.
So I call you what my heart says.
Okay. They call him Love.
Yes.
Okay. I would say we'll try to come up with another one, and then I'll feel quite even that much more comfortable. I mean, look at all the acclimates. Let's ask Sister Tita. She's known me for a little while, has had to connect with me for a little while. What kind of what do we used to call it when we were young? Nicknames. You know how we used to do nicknames when we grew up? I know you remember that.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of nickname would you call me? Because really, when you think about it, these are nicknames, really.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, with you, I would go with Butter Roll. I'm just saying, I would go Butter Roll.
Wow, why Butter Roll? That's interesting. Sound like a Southern kind of name.
Well, I'm from the South.
Okay, so did
Where
you?
everybody has nicknames.
Hold on. Did you? Well, I'm North with you too. Okay, I'll tell you mine in a minute. But did you know someone who was called Butter Roll? And did he eat a lot of butter rolls? I mean, what was it? Why they called him Butter Roll?
No, you just look like a butter roll to me. You asked me, I'm telling you, you just look like a butter roll to me.
Oh, sucky.
I like that.
I was gonna say, don't put me in the oven, my sisters. Don't do that, because then you're gonna burn me. No, that's good. Okay, so you want to know what my nickname was when
What's that?
They used to call me Cotton.
Cotton?
Yeah, they used to call me Cotton. That was my nickname.
Wow.
Yeah, they call me Cotton. I'll tell you. I'll give you I'll give you the reason why I like.
Okay.
I played a lot of basketball. What's that?
You guys are having technical difficulties. You guys are having technical difficulties where you're freezing on the screen. Just letting you know.
Oh, okay. Man, I don't know why we're doing that again. Oh, wow. Hello. There's Mr. David Banner. He's there again.
Hello,
Okay.
how are you?
Yeah, I don't know why we're having that. We seem to have a good because usually it comes up in the corner, tells us we're having a bad connection, but it's not showing us that. So we'll keep on going on anyway. So
right,
the first reason for the nickname I like, just because of the fact that it made me feel more manly. There was a guy in football. I don't know what particular professional team he was on. If somebody out there who knows it, please text us right here. but his name was Craig Cotton. He was a wide,
Mm.
a wide something receiver.
Receiver.
Yes, and I played football a lot, touch football, not much tackle football. Or we did sometimes in the grass in our favorite neighborhood. And so I was a wide something receiver and all that other good stuff. So they used to call me Craig Cotton, and I felt kind of good about it, being called another brother. It was well known. But on the other side, sadly to say, the girls who, sometimes y'all sisters like to make fun of us brothers to take us down a couple of pegs. We won't talk
Never.
about that. Okay.
Never.
I know it happens down south and up north, so don't even pretend like it don't. But they used to call me Cotton. It's making me sweat now just thinking about it. Because when I would come all the time to the basketball court, I would always come with cotton all over my head.
Oh my God.
And that's because when mom would make me go through the process of, moms make you wash your face and stuff before you leave out. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I always used an old washcloth that what happens with old kind of washcloths. They left
Right.
the lint all over my head, and I would pay no attention to it. So the guys called me Cotton all the time.
Wow.
It's because of football will call me Cotton. Anyway, that's how
Okay.
it went. Please, Sharon, do not call me Cotton.
I will never.
Okay? You can
ever.
use butter. Was it butter bean or what? Was
butter
it?
roll.
Butter roll if you want, or you can cover them, but don't call me Cotton. Really
I
don't.
will never. You can count on that. I will never. Do
Yeah. Okay. Enough of that one.
it.
Okay. Where are we going from here? See now, I done messed everything
Yeah.
up.
It's rolling in my head, and I got a vision of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
but-
Please don't do that. Okay. So we're going to start out because
Okay.
I can tell I'm
I
going to do
know
it.
exactly where we're going
What?
with this. I just said I will never ever call you that in front of anybody, and as a matter of fact, I will never ever call you that. Period. Cotton, that is. And so that is one thing that you can count on. I will keep my word on.
Oh,
I will
shoot.
definitely keep my word on that one.
Well, you know what? You're right. This is a bridgeway to our topic today. You can see
Yes.
it at the bottom, which is called keeping your word.
Yes.
Keeping your word. If one thing that should be important in a balanced and a healthy relationship is keeping your word. There is a old saying, and when it comes to about keeping people's word, I grew up with, and some of the older guys that are around, they call them old school kind of guys. They would use this kind of statement to us younger guy, which is your word is your what? Your bond. Your word is your bond.
Yes.
Latia, what do you think about that? Because I know that's got to be an old time saying.
That's
I know
everywhere.
it got to be down south too. What you thought that saying of your word is your bond?
Well, I mean, it was connected to the person. The words you speak are bound to you, and you're extending that boundary. Literally, I say boundary, and not just bond, but that boundary to someone else to come into your space, right?
Mhm.
And then you're bonding. You're bonding with your words with that person. So that's how I always viewed it.
I like
Yes.
that. What about you, Sharon? I know you grew up down south, and I'm assuming you were once in a while hit with that. Then I don't know. I just know up north we were hit with that a lot, especially from the older guys. I grew up with my uncle being an electrician. He would always say to me, you got to understand, your word is your bond. And some of the guys on the street would say the same thing. Your word is your bond.
Yeah, I grew up hanging around the elders, my grandmother, my grandfather, uncles, and all that. I was like up under them constantly,
Mhm.
and they would use that a lot because it was, when I remember once my grandfather. I was very small, and I remember him talking to my grandmother about this man that he was working for,
Mhm.
and my grandmother was trying to get him to go and find a job with somebody else because this man wasn't treating him right.
Mhm.
And, and he said, but he gave me his word, and he didn't even have to say his word was his bond. I had heard it so much. I understood. If you say something, you're expected to keep up with that. And because this man was another Black man, he believed him unconditionally, and it's like he gave me his word that he was going to pay me. And so, I trust that he's going to do that. So it was almost like it goes hand in hand with like a handshake.
Mhm.
If you shake on it, it's chiseled in stone. Same thing with this man gave him his word,
Mhm.
and he trusted and believed it 100%.
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know how it goes now with the younger generation when it comes to that. It's just because of the fact that there seems to be a lot of as we used to say games that are being played with the
Mhm.
younger folks. I don't know how much that they value this idea of your word being your bond. From that particular end, we know that, or at least I know that, once upon a time, that word being your bond would be sealed with a handshake.
Yes.
And that was usually good enough. A handshake would seal that particular word,
Mhm.
and in turn, the agreement would be made. And from there, it would then pretty much be expressed and come to
Yeah.
pass. Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 go ahead.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when some of this started, there was a situation or a time when people, especially Black people, could not read and write very well.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't do a contract. So you had to have something else that bound you together to what you were doing. And the only thing you could count on was that person's word. Because if they wrote it out, you may not be able to read it anyway.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, that's very true. Hey, come to think of it, those who are watching our show right now, if you're getting something out of it, if you have got something out before, hey, we'd like to get your word and turn it into a bond by going to our Cash App and donating something right here on this platform. So you would get a chance to see us and a chance to see this beautiful lady under the side, and gain some good, valuable
Mhm.
information to take with you in your walk of life, in your journey of life. Is right here below. We take from 5, we take to 100. If some of you
Or
have
whatever.
even more than that, please think about giving to this platform. It's $ all things relevant on Cash App. We would love that.
Absolutely.
I
Keep
wa-
us on.
Exactly. I want to move to that when it comes to a word as a bond in a
Mhm.
relationship. I know some people are thinking, well, what the heck does that mean in a relationship? Well, in relationships that I remember strongly, and it's still today, the word being a bond or people keeping the word is just as important then as it still is now. And the imbalanced side, or what I call the side that folks who are not thriving, those who are in turn just surviving, I remember there was a push that a lot of women will feel that when it comes to a man, especially a Black man, he was really a person that when it came down to it, you can expect him to keep his word.
Right.
You can expect him to be truthful. He's going to be a person who's going to lie to you, jive you, hustle you, and end up pretty much be cheating on you. So you might as well forget it. He's not a person. He's not a person that you can get that you could hang your head on and expect his word to come to pass. In fact, when you think about it, he's usually nothing but a con man. And one way or the other, he's guilty. And I'm just waiting to see him mess up. I want to read something real quickly. I want to start this way in this area so that we can move in a more positive way, but we also want to keep it real and right. Someone just dropped off by accident. I don't know why, but we'll find out in a minute. Now, and hopefully Atita will come back on in a minute. I don't know if she will, but I hope she will. I'm going to put this up here real quickly. Where is it at? Where is it presenting? Stop, extra slide. Oops. I want to do extra
No.
slide. How do you do this then? Slide, share a screen. Oh, share a screen. Here it is. It's a window. Okay, so we're going to put this up and hopefully people will be able to see it. Okay, it's right to the side. Here's what someone sent me too in this area about keeping a word, on keeping your word, and how sometimes it just came down hard on us, men or Black men. Some of us, that is. And some women feel this way and some don't.
And it's also the perception.
Oh, this is all about perception.
Yes.
So
Yes.
here's what it says. Thank you for being back. Thank you for being back. Hold on, let's bring her back in. Add her to the stage. There you go. Okay. So I thank you. I'm getting ready to read something that actually a sister sent to me. And it was on the subject that has to do with keeping words and how traditionally it's been looked upon Black men. Oh, somebody, you can't keep your word. Hey, come to think about it. I'm going to bring a song real quick to bring us home back in the Motown days. It's called Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he lives, hat was his own. Now you talking about the epitome, the colorful epitome, the creative epitome of a man that you can't
you can't count on.
You can't count on.
No.
And his word
But
was
he's
no
expecting to be able to count on you.
Exactly.
Yes.
So she this is what she said to me. When a man doesn't want to change, she will find a man that's okay with her lifestyle. When a woman doesn't want to change, she will find a man that's okay with her lifestyle, so she doesn't have to grow up. That's why these women will purposely destroy a relationship with a man, because he sets boundaries and has standards of his standard. This is not that one. This is the one that's the other way around. This is the other way around. This is saying that there are men who have a standard. And their particular standard is that they expect people to keep the word, including a woman to keep the word.
Yes.
And if that particular standard is too heavy on them, they don't even think you're not good enough as a woman. Okay.
Right.
And 9 out of 10, you're just too much for them and you to handle. And they need a weaker man who accepts the bare minimum.
Yes.
What you think about that?
I think that is true for a lot of people. There are a lot of people, and I don't know if it's so much they don't want to grow up as they don't want to grow. They are afraid to grow. They
but this is saying, in this case, when a woman doesn't want to change, she will find a man that's okay with her lifestyle, so she doesn't have to grow up.
Yes.
That's why these women will purposely destroy a relationship with a real man, whatever a real man is supposed to be, because he made this real man sets boundaries.
Yes.
And has standards that he stands heavily on.
Yes.
And don't ever think you're not don't ever think you're not not enough for these women. 9 out of 10 times you're just too much for them to handle, and they need a weaker man who accepts the bare minimum.
And that's why, and I'm agreeing with that to a great extent. There are quite a few, this is not saying everybody. Please don't think I'm saying everybody, but there are a lot of women who are afraid to grow because they have, and I don't mean grow up, mature and all that. They've already done all of that, but they're afraid to change from the plane that they're on because they have they've become comfortable with it. And they're afraid to do something else because they've had experiences where they have attempted to grow as a human being, as a person, and they have gotten chastised or knocked down for it. Now, with that said, these women have a tendency to settle, and this is men too. They have a tendency to settle for someone who is lower than energy wise, lower than what they really need.
Okay, so this is one of those touchy subjects.
Yes.
So what you're saying is there would be some women who would be comfortable with a man that basically doesn't keep his word. He doesn't have a standard like that. He, in turn, is Papa like a Rolling Stone, which was many of them during my particular time, and many women who were comfortable with that. And they were only with them because they didn't want a man who basically had a higher level of standards of, hey, I keep my words, therefore you should keep your words.
Yes.
And I'm uncomfortable with that because of the fact that it means in this particular case, I have to do better for myself. Or in this case, I have to rise to a higher level of being able to be a person that you can trust and really be loyal to. Is that what we're talking about?
Sometimes, yes, but sometimes I think it's even more than that. Sometimes I think it is, and Latita, you can jump in anytime, but sometimes I think it is the fact that women have had experiences that make them believe that they don't deserve any better.
Yes. I agree with that. And to go back to being complacent, and the complacency happens when a woman or man wants to grow, but her girlfriends or her friends won't let her. And so they chastise her. So now she's like, oh, okay. And she goes back down. My thing is find a new circle of friends.
But same thing with that complacency. They get complacent with that circle of friends that they have. And they feel like they're abandoning or they're moving into uncharted territory, and that's scary. real scary for a lot of people.
Wow.
It,
Wow.
it is. It is. And so what I encourage people to do, you carry coins. We call that change. So carry different coins and on different days use a different coin. That's a change right there that you've made.
I love that. I
Yes.
love that.
And
Hey.
Vanessa agrees with you.
Exactly. Vanessa in the quarters. I hear that when it comes to laundry, laundromats and paying for getting your clothes clean, it ain't no quarters anymore. I heard it's expensive as can be.
You know, some
to
of them,
wash.
some of the machines have gone to credit cards.
Yeah, I heard that, man.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can't afford a washer. You're on a fixed income. But if you're going to go out and do your laundry, you better have a credit card.
No, but it's a debit
You know.
card. It's a debit card.
But
You know,
still.
debit cards just as well.
Yeah,
But hey, do we accept debit cards in this relationship when it comes to a word? Because right there, we're talking about a lot of women who accept debit cards, meaning men who are saying, we got the money in the bank,
no.
but we don't have the money in the bank when it comes to time to fulfill
Okay.
that promise.
But see,
And that their word is not something that you really get.
but see, that's not a debit card.
Mm-hmm.
Because with a debit card, you can use only what you have. That's a credit card.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, not good credit.
Yeah,
then.
no,
You
not
would-
good
you're not
credit.
good credit. Well, you know, I think on this note, there's also some men who are doing the same thing.
Yes, it goes both ways.
What do you think about men that might do that same thing? That they will feel more comfortable to, or not comfortable, or feel the same way you feel. Have a lady that is at a level where she doesn't have any standards. In her word, she can speak all the time. Doesn't feel that she has to keep it whatsoever. And he feels maybe comfortable with it because maybe he feels, this is the best I can get. I'm a black guy anyway. People look at me being a person that can't keep my word. And therefore, if I try to pull any standards, or if I try to, submit any kind of ways that say, you need to keep your word, lady, whatever, then I'm going to feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So it's best for me just to accept someone that's lesser.
Yes, and sometimes that's because people are afraid to be alone.
Mm.
They're not
Mhm.
comfortable with themselves that they can be alone long enough or be without somebody long enough to find somebody who will fulfill the needs that they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they
I
say,
agree.
Vanessa Taylor said, wow. Hey, listen, if you got any concerns, any questions, or you want to add on to what we're talking about, there's no statement or question that's stupid. Please put it out there and post it as a comment, and we'll bring it up and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we continue. I think that's very, very important.
absolutely, because and I mean to cut you off
No,
again. I
that's
keep
all right.
doing that. I get these brain spears or
No,
whatever.
no.
But I think it's absolutely important for us to know what you're thinking. And when you add something to our conversation, it always helps us to grow also.
Exactly. Keeping your word, in this case, your word is your bond, is all about making sure, first of all, your agreements are clear.
Mhm.
We're talking about that's how you keep your word, because
Yes.
sometimes we know that when someone's keeping the word, they're not too much clear about what they want you to do,
Mhm.
or not that much clear about what they even want in the first place.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But there's also holding them to the word by using hopefully some straight talk. And I know in the field that you're in, Latita, there are people you talk to who say one thing but really mean another. Am I correct?
Yeah, buddy.
What do they call that? A lot of cognitive dissonance that happens a
Oh
lot.
my goodness. Yes. But I loved what you said, because when you talk about a debit card and dealing even with friendships and relationships, that debit card is that tide. That
Mm,
tide will take you for a ride until it dries out, and that's when the money's gone, if you will.
Yeah.
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 And with credit, at least you know that it's backed with something. With something. It's backed with something. I know that your ocean is not going to dry out that quickly.
Yeah.
You know.
I've said, and not going to catch up, but I said sometimes in relationships, and I know some guys who were in relationships that they loved this girl. She looked real good outside, and this girl made a lot of promises to him. And I would talk to him and I would say to him, man, you seem to be like a horse with a carrot in front of you. This woman is keeping on telling you how much she's going to change, how much she's going to be different, how much she's not going to treat you that way. And you keep on moving forward like a horse trying to get that carrot. And you ain't going to never get that carrot. You ain't
No.
going to never get it. And we know that there's many women who've been in that same situation with the guy talking that same thing, and they're trying to run down that route to get that particular carrot in this case, and they're never going to get it. And I mean, come on, we grew up with some aunts and some uncles who lived their life all their life like that.
Yes,
all their life they lived like that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break for commercials. I know we're right in the middle of some good stuff, but we're going to take a break for 2 commercials, and then we're going to come back. We're going to continue with it. So pick up your popcorn, pick up your sandwiches, call your girlfriend, call your boyfriend. Hey, call someone that you know you've been trying them to keep their word.
yes.
And this might be something to help them out to learn how to keep their word. And go ahead.
And they don't have to be in a relationship with you that is like boyfriend, girlfriend, dating type of thing. They could be some of your friends, some of your hangout buddies,
Right.
your girls and whatnot that don't keep their words. Oh yeah, I'm gonna come by your house, and 2 weeks later, I thought you were coming by my house. Oh yeah, well and ends right there.
Well, you just remember
Yeah.
at the end, we are trying to give you good information that you could take with you to actually apply in your own relationship. Those other relationships you're talking about, you can expect you can't. No doubt about it. You want to add it to it to help you out. But in your own relationship, that intimate relationship, that dedicated relationship, you definitely want to add some of the things we're giving to you, and in turn, or bring it to be a more healthy, more balanced relationship. Anyway, we'll be right back with a commercial. Please stay tuned. All right, we are back again. Got another last commercial. Look below, right there. Looking for special gifts for someone. Give that gift that they will always remember. What is it called?
Omen
Timepieces. Go to www.timelesschanging.com. That's our commercial right there at the bottom.
And that's TIMELS.
Hey, we're gonna have to get a hold of them and see if they could
changing.com.
get us a one watch with taking the journey on it, so we can actually show it.
Oh yeah,
Get a lot of people to go
Oh,
there
that
and take a
would-
look at it.
That would be nice.
We'll talk to our famous guy behind the scene, Julius, and see if he can start
Yes.
getting some of our sponsors to make sure they drop off some gifts to us. And But what a better way to be able to get it sold to, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, don't forget to at the same time, we love to have you go over to that platform and make sure you what?
Drop some cash.
Exactly.
It's
Cash
kinda,
App.
it's kind of like at church when you're passing the plate.
Mm-hmm.
We're passing the plate now, so don't be like those people who just keep it passing, or turn your head or get busy in your purse or something. Get the plate, Cash App. It's $ all things relevant. Drop it in the plate and pass it on to the next person. So
There you go. Pass the peas just a little bit. But I want you to keep your word, not on the side, but in the forward.
exactly.
So when we got there, we were talking about
before you
the
do that,
commercial.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We forgot to tell them where else we can be seen.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Let's
I'm
go ahead
sorry
and get
about that.
done and out
Let
of the
me
way.
get the first one right here.
Yes.
Hold on, see if that's the one there.
No,
No,
it's
no,
down.
no,
That
no,
one,
no.
you just passed.
Oh, I
it.
just passed. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. On Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can join us on WRUU 107.5 if you're local here in Savannah, or you can go to www.wruu.org and listen to us on the radio from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, and also, I got our own place.
We have our own place. You can find us on the web at takingthejourney-together.com. You can email us at
Questions? They can email us with questions or concerns.
yes,
Mhm.
or a desire to be a guest.
Exactly. Yeah, we're looking for good couples who would love to be able to share their experiences as being friends and maybe
Yes.
help someone else out on
Mhm.
how they made it happen
Yes.
or how they're making it happen.
Right. And so when you email us, you go to ttjt@takingthejourney-together.com. And on Facebook, we are at facebook.com/ttjtogether. And we even have Instagram,
Mhm.
which is instagram.com/takingthej together. That sounds so modernistic, taking the J.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Take the J.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the J for you. How's
yes,
that?
we're going to take the J together.
I like that. I like that. Well, we just stopped about how men and women will date or get in a relationship where someone has a lower standard than what they feel. What they
Exactly.
think. Now we're not getting into that Kevin Samuels thought process where men who are higher standard and turns should not be dating or trying to have a relationship with a woman at a lower standard.
Yes.
And his standards he was talking about was mostly financial wise.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
It was very vain, if you want to think about it.
It was. I mean,
Um,
that's a adoption that a lot of men who have and take when they're in a
Mhm.
professional world and are making some good money. And so their ID is in that world. In order for me to stay in this world, I have to have that kind of woman, trophy woman, whatever you may want to call it, that has to live and breathe and do things the way I really want them
Mhm.
to in order for us to be able to stay in that particular world. They
Right.
have to, some people say they have to rise up, or sometimes they just have to stay at the same level, whatever it may
Yes.
be. But we're not referring to that. Though
No.
there are some principles he spoke of that I think that needs to be changed, that we think about when it comes to taking the journey together,
Mhm.
that brings healthy and balanced relationship. One of them is keeping your word.
Yes.
So whether you are making millions of dollars or you're making only hundreds of dollars,
Mhm.
the integrity principle of keeping your word in a relationship is very, very important.
Yes.
And you should not feel less of yourself to get in a relationship with someone who doesn't keep the word. In fact, most of the time they feel that they don't have to keep the
Yes.
word.
And-
That is not really an important thing
Mhm.
whatsoever. And if it was important, it's okay that's important to you, but you can't make me think that
Right.
it should be something that's important to me.
Right. And I was wondering, and this is a question that I'm throwing out to you.
Mhm.
How much of that do you think is truly self-esteem issues, where people who don't keep their word
Mhm.
have lower self-esteem, and they will make statements and plan to do things and want to do things
Mhm.
that will please somebody else, but their self-esteem is so low that they can't follow through with it. Do you think that's a factor, or
Um,
that?
well, what do you think?
I think it could be. I
Hmm.
think it definitely could be because of not having um, a good sense of self.
Or not having any real how can I say it, role models in their life
Right.
that do nothing differently, and the role
Hmm.
models they did have actually operated the same way,
Right.
act the same way. Yet that's still on that level of, if someone and turn things less of themselves, maybe
Hmm.
they would pick someone, as you just described, that really is weaker. Even when you don't have fact, most of the time, if you don't have good self-esteem, that is weaker from the
Yes.
standpoint of you not being all who you are.
Or who
It
you're
is
supposed
weaker.
to be.
Yes.
Yes.
That means you're operating at a lower vibration.
Hmm.
You're operating at a lower frequency. You're operating at, some people say, less than what you deserve on who you are.
Right.
And in that operation, obviously, you easily could fall for or be in a relationship where someone will use that to their advantage.
Hmm.
And what happens is they don't mind if you don't keep your word.
Right.
But on the other side, if they mind keeping your word and they connect to someone like that, there's no doubt about it. That has to do with you lowering your particular standards.
Right.
I think it's very important in the balance side, because it's both men and women that do that, making sure that you know how to love yourself, and the way that your self-confidence has moved from being independent to interdependent, because we are
Yeah.
talking about a balanced relationship.
Yes.
We're talking about a relationship where both of you are an us.
Hmm.
So therefore, you know that you can do more with that other person in a relationship than what you could do by yourself. Being a us
Right.
is that level that we are all about teaching and moving in. It's called leveling up.
Right.
So though we talked about how many times we're getting in relationships and we're not moving in balance,
Hmm.
we're all talking about trying to move from that. I talked
Right.
about the first time saying this is a survival level. Many of us default to the survival level and don't move to the level that we're talking about when it comes to taking the journey, which is leveling up,
Exactly.
which is trying to be in a relationship that's more healthy, that's
Mhm.
more balanced, that's, I
Mhm.
would say, more blessed. So we are staying on the path of understanding that one of the foundations in that kind of relationship is what? Keeping your word.
Yes.
If your word can't be kept in a balanced and healthy relationship, then it's hard to trust. It's hard
Yes.
to in turn understand loyalty. That relationship is, in this case, lopsided. Or
Mhm.
some people say,
Mhm.
and Latita was here, she would also say that she would agree with me. It's
By
called,
the way, she had to
exactly.
she
Sorry
had
about
to
that,
go. She
Latita. We
was
didn't say anything if you
she
saw
was bound by other
commitments.
commitments, and this is one of those times where she did keep
And we
her
were blessed to
word.
see her there.
Exactly. We were just glad for the time we were able to have her on.
Exactly, exactly. So with that, people in her world, because she's also a counselor.
No, she's not.
And well, not a counselor. I forgot. I forgot what she had to say to herself.
And she makes sure she knows.
Exactly.
Everybody knows she is not a counselor. She is not a coach.
Well, in the
She's-
counseling world, they would call that a codependent relationship.
Yes.
And we definitely, our standards, what we're trying to push across in balanced relationship or taking the journey together is relationships that are healthy and don't operate in codependency whatsoever. They
Right.
try not to. They move to. They may in turn do that like a wave in life, where there are times when people are not feeling good and we kind of drop to that level
Mhm.
where we're being codependent. One is more dependent on one than
Right.
the other. But most of the time we operate at a level where both of us are very much in mutual respect,
Right.
in mutual agreement, depending on each other, both together,
Mhm.
and operating in an interdependent way. Keeping your word makes that happen. Broken promises, even small ones, cause problems. Things that don't get done, relationships will break down, and trust erodes.
Yes.
And if you are on the receiving end, you have a choice: say nothing and let it slide, or call it out, hope it goes away, but risk the argument that nobody wants. Either way, it's stressful.
It is. It is. And it makes you feel, and sometimes it makes you doubt yourself or question yourself. It's like,
Mhm.
did I really hear that person say that they were going to do this? And now they're saying that they didn't say it. And you're thinking, how can I be so wrong? What did I not hear that I should have heard? And so sometimes,
Oh, the other person might say, I did say that.
yeah,
I thought you heard me say that.
yes,
And you're on that side, you said, I know you didn't say that. Or maybe you didn't say that.
yeah, and that is where communication is off. Communication is definitely off, but it makes you want to go back um and question everything. You know, you start to want to question everything before you come to an agreement. And what that comes down to is, as you said, trust is gone.
Exactly. But it doesn't have to be that stressful. And taking a journey is all about trying to move us to a positive way
Mhm.
and in turn operate in a way where it is to be so, not in such a way that says it's not to be so on that
Right.
survival
Right.
level. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to build people and trying to let them understand that it doesn't have to be that way. So it doesn't have to be that stressful when we learn to ask for what we want.
Exactly.
When we learn to ask for what we want. Yes, in our relationship, if it's a us relationship, if it's a balanced relationship, you are about trying to learn to ask for what you want. In that process, in your relationship that you're together there in the first place, based on friendship, you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to want to feel comfortable if that's your true friend to speak
Yes.
what you want. Hmm?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you all right?
I am.
Clearly,
It's-
elicit the comments. Get that out of you.
I know.
Got that out of you.
It's like uh-oh. Have I been keeping my word? Nope, I haven't been keeping my word. What do I do to get my word back on track? And so here we
Hold
go.
people to a what? Hold people to account based on the word.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. You have a right in your relationship to hold them to be accountable to the word because their word is their bond.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Their word is a bond. So you got a right to hold them accountable to the word. Now, there are folks that in turn, when you hear this, sometimes we might try to hold them to something that's not their word at all.
Right.
It wasn't something even promised.
Right.
That's nothing they said. Maybe it might be some baggage that came from another relationship that you were with,
Mm-hmm.
and that person never in turn, how can I say it, kept their word. And so you transferred on your next relationship and figure, yeah, they're going to be the same.
You're preparing yourself for the worst
Exactly.
when you have no reason to.
Mhm.
And so in that case, you're holding somebody else to somebody else's word.
Exactly.
And is that fair?
No, it's not. Here's a parable that goes how it works.
Okay.
5 frogs are on a log. Okay. 4 decide to jump off. How many remain? I'm asked that question for everybody out there who's watching us. Please give us an answer if you want to. If you can, I ask that you do in comments. Again, 5 frogs
Nice
on a
little
log. 4 decide to jump off.
Mhm.
How many really remain? Come on now. Don't be afraid.
Come on, throw some.
Come on, throw something out there. Vanessa,
Throw-
Banner, Scott, say something.
All
What
of
do
you.
you think?
Anybody, even if you haven't said anything to us up to this point, throw something in there and
Throw
give
your-
us an idea.
Raise your hand up. You think 4, 3,
5,
2? Which
3,
one?
1.
Very
Nothing.
crucial to understand.
Yes.
Okay, the clock goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Doom, 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 doom. Ah. We'll give you the answer. The answer is this: 5 are still on. Why are 5 still on?
Because just because they said they're going to does not mean they followed through.
That's what you find out a lot
Yes.
when in that relationship cycle that you talked about,
Mhm.
that you have a lot of people who say, I'm sure, I'm going to, I'm going to jump. Yes, I'm going to do that. But just because they say that doesn't mean what?
They're going to do it.
They're going to get it, that they're going to actually do
They're
it.
going to follow through with it.
Exactly.
You know, that happens everywhere. It happens in all relationships, in your personal relationships at home. It happens in your relationships at work. It happens in your friendship relationships. You always have somebody that you know is probably going to back out and not follow through.
In your relationship that has to do with your long-term and marriage relationship, that's not good
Not
when
at
it's a
all.
continuous pattern and it's a way of life for them.
And it
It is
erodes.
not whatsoever. You cannot have them being frogs continuously standing on that log, telling you that they are about to jump and they don't, and all they do is croak.
Yes, yes. And what that does is it erodes your not only your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but it erodes your belief in that person. It's like the relationship will back down, will break down. I'm never going to do that again. And that's one of the worst things you can say is never. Because if the minute you say never, karma's going to come back and test you on that.
Some people say you should never say never.
Exactly.
So people say they will do something, not realizing their word is their bond, and don't follow through. This happens in the corporate world, as you said before. It happens in the living room, as you said. It happens in all these different structures. It's because someone didn't have or behave with the one thing that people don't want to listen to now, especially when it comes to this world that has to do with politics, that has to do with religion, that has to do with a lot of people are saying something that they are not going to do and make a lot of promises, big promises. This is going to happen. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to take us back to this and all that good stuff. At the end, these words are not even follow through. We seem to live in a world now where I just listen to what people say, but I don't necessarily figure we have to worry about them following through. And if they do, I'm too afraid. I'm too uncomfortable to what? Hold them to it. So we're full of water. A lot of people just con artists.
Exactly,
really are con artists.
Exactly. And you can't always fall back on, but I intended to, because eventually you got to find a plan B when your intentions even, and sometimes granted, we do intend to do what we say we're going to do and we get sidetracked, but that's not an excuse. It's not a good enough excuse. I'm guilty of it. I'm definitely guilty of it. And, and I realize that, yes, my schedule is crazy busy. And I say, oh, I'm going to do that to try to please you. And then when the chips are down, I don't follow through. And I know what damage that can do. But the intentions were there. What I have to do, and this is what I'm putting myself out here on the chopping block, folks, so that you can learn from my experiences. My grandmother used to always say, you don't have to fall in the same hole somebody else did. You saw they fell in it, so you need to learn how to go around it. And so this is one of those holes that I'm trying to help you go around. When you have the best of intentions, as you say, and you truly intend to do it when you say you're going to do it, when you find out you can't, that's when you need to say, I know I said I was going to do this, but this and this and this has gotten in the way, and I'm not going to be able to at the time I said I was going to. So what can we do now?
Yes, we're talking about, in this case, sometimes you put too many irons on the fire.
Yes.
You have too many things on your plate, or you're trying to prove something to someone else that you really can't follow through in. All of those things, okay, you're talking about, because it does happen. When it's a continuous pattern, it becomes a principle in your life that then says, my word is not my bond.
Exactly. And the only way you can heal that is if you change what you do.
Well, more than that, you have to think about that. This is all about integrity.
Yes.
Integrity is a moral principle based on honesty and what? Truthfulness of one's action. Doing what you say will do and demonstrate integrity. Failing to do so signals that you can't be trusted to keep your words.
Right.
So you're seen as an unreliable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're not in a balance or trying to build yourself in a balanced and healthy relationship with someone who's going to be unreliable.
Exactly. And that does not put you in a good light either.
Well, we're not just so much of the image in front of that person.
No. What I mean is put you in a good light as somebody who has integrity.
Well, yeah.
Somebody who is reliable.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because
that kind
all
of
of that is just being broken away.
Exactly. And for a balanced and healthy relationship to become an us, both of us have to be people who are our word. And especially when it comes to first starting with us, we have to have that integrity principle that says in our mind and our heart, I'm truthful. I say what I do and I do what I say.
Yes.
I do what I say and I say what I do because my word is my bond. And if I cannot follow through on this, for those who are listening. And if you can't, because a lot of us can't, a lot of us are going through problems, a lot of us are going through troubles, have the respect, have the honor, let that other person know ahead of time that I can't do this. This is too much on my plate, or I won't get to it, or this is why I didn't do it. That will not break trust. That will not break being your word is being your bond. That's all part of a bonding of your word, because we know part of bonding is not everything is going to go in the world perfect, because there is no such thing as being perfect in the first place.
Exactly.
It's when you don't keep it, when you don't say anything, and you do it over and over again, then your integrity is at question. And then again, a balanced and healthy relationship, it's not healthy. It will never be healthy that way.
Right.
And that causes relationships to go down south in other directions. Hey, listen, we appreciate that you've been listening to us, because
wow.
what? I know time is up.
I didn't realize time
Yeah.
had moved that quickly.
I got to take that share thing off.
Yeah.
So
Although we still would like for you to continue to share.
exactly.
Next week we'll be back 6 o'clock, same bat channel. But
we're keeping a word. We'll be back.
Exactly. We definitely will. And we hope you come back with us.
Be soft, be safe, be honorable, be loving, and keep your word with the person that you love. Take care. God bless and Ashe.
I like that.